Hello everyone and welcome to another Toon Boom tip video in Adam's Animation Academy's YouTube channel. Bit of a long-winded title there. This one's quite a niche thing. Maybe you've noticed it, maybe it's annoyed you, maybe it hasn't. Maybe it's going to annoy you after you find out about it, because this is about the timeline and tidying up what you see, how many layers you see and how to hide them and show them and make it much more efficient to guide yourself through. Yes mate, I know. This is a big deal to you. My character on screen here is obviously absolutely ecstatic about this topic, so let's get started. As you can see here from the timeline, I have a little bit of animation. I did my best to do a bit of on-screen acting there. I hope you appreciate it. It's just to give you an idea that there is some animation in here, and this is a character rig that if we go into, you can see there's loads of stuff going on. It's a bit of a mess, but you know. It's the kind of thing that you might see when you are working on a production standard rig. I mean, that's nothing to be intimidated by. It just means something that's complicated, that's got loads of stuff in it for a production like a TV show or something. So they're trying to cover more eventualities, therefore they build in more into it, therefore it's more complicated. So, you know, you don't generally put anything in a rig unless you need to. That's why it's got more options. But those options create things on the timeline. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, we have, for example, I've jumped down to the arm area. We've got an arm peg. I'm just going to press O to jump to it in the node view as well. There's a peg there, but these things, like this is a static transformation. So if I jump to that, press the letter O, you can see this has got a little group underneath it as well. This is a slightly older rig, so some of these things you might not do the same, but like this is a color art, this is an overlay, these are splitters, and they kind of come with little stars next to them in the timeline that tells you that they are effects. There's a bit of a kind of a thing there that you don't really need to see these on the timeline. The same with things like the deformers, these deformer box groups. That literally represents this light blue box here, and then inside would be these ones that you will also see on the timeline. So you don't always need to see this little plus. It genuinely confuses me every time, and I make mistakes like I just did there by grabbing things and moving them around. So how do we filter what we see on the timeline? Well, if you go to this, what they call a hamburger menu, I know, makes me hungry too, but if you click these three little horizontal lines on the top left corner of this window pane, go to View and then Show, you've got options to turn them off, and you can go to the Show Manager, and this just makes it easy to uncheck them. So if I turn off effects and groups and composites, because we don't want to see these things shown either, you can click OK, and all of a sudden it's much simpler. You don't see those deformers in there, you don't see the little special effect things for the art layer splitters. You can also, if I press 0, you can actually turn off the sound. So if I go to View, Show sound waveform. Generally that's not something you're going to want, but if you do open up a scene and you're like, hey, I can hear the sound but I can't see the waveform, it's in there. Hamburger menu, View, Show, and then just check that the waveform is turned on. So that's how you turn things on and off in the timeline. I hope it's useful for you, because there's my dog. That's Wilson. He's saying he thinks it's really useful. I'm going to show you him now. Who's that, Wilson? So this is my little helper. This is Wilson. He's the one grumbling in the background. He's a bit indifferent to animation software, but he thinks these techniques for showing and hiding things on the timeline are excellent. He's also just noticed himself on screen. Anyway, I'll see you in another video. Thanks for watching.